excellence.
Ghetto Runways, stupid.
Yo, tune in.
Till you're mine.
What the fuck?
Body and
Back world for another episode edition. This is 6 we at, you know. Welcome to Ghetto Runways. I appreciate the love we've been getting. It's been overwhelming and just amazing. But I even think this episode is gonna get there too. What's up, Dane? How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling great, man. Feeling great, Zo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about to be a good week, man.
Yeah.
It's about to be a good week.
We got a legend here, man. I don't see why it is. Tell them who we got here today, man.
Man, so, man, I'm gonna give y'all a little story, man. I was told to give a proper intro, the right way.
Yes, sir.
Because I feel like no one's ever really done it, talked about the influence. So, man, I'm gonna just take y'all back. And I like to always go before the internet, right? Being in Chicago, if you were fly, you had to sort of meet up at certain places, right? Mm-hmm. But the fly guys at the time were throwing the dope events. So it was easy, but you had to know where to be, right? And our next guest, man, he's one of the founders of the Chicago nightlife scene.
No doubt.
But more importantly, like one of the innovators, one of the guys who I always looked at, you know, and was like, what he wearing? Okay, cool. Next week I got to come back a little better. You know what I'm saying? Like I was sharpening my skills based on what this guy was doing.
Facts.
And he's a guy that's probably helped launch the career. Well, not probably. He was there for the launching of one of the greatest global icons known right now. Man, we got DonC with us, y'all.
What's up, brother, man?
Man,
How you
what
feeling,
an introduction, twin.
bro?
You know what I'm saying?
It's
I don't know if I'm gonna live up to it, but
Nah, you're gonna surpass it, man.
we
'cause it's
here,
all
man. Chi-Town in the building.
Yes,
Ghetto
sir.
Runways. And it's I'm just happy to be on this before this really thing take off global. So I could be like I was there from the jump, you know what I'm saying? I could act like I was in on the startup with y'all.
Man, hey, you was.
You are because you the motivation, man. You like the mood board.
That's how we do,
You know what I
man.
mean?
We A-alikes, so
That's
we
facts.
bounce off each other.
Yeah, man.
So,
Shout out to Happy. I tell Happy all the time, like it's Don, man.
Come on,
I've been
man.
saying this for like 20
big-
years.
My
20,
big brother
yeah.
make sure I stay
Yeah,
on
it's-
point
it's-
too, so that's why I need him.
Yeah,
he keep me balanced.
It's Don, man. It's you, man. Twin, let's get to it. Where we at, man? We got a lot to cover,
Hey,
man.
So, look, we're just gonna start like this. Don, tell us who DonC is, man.
Oh, DonC, man, just a kid from Chicago, South Side. So my influences are definitely like the South Side, the streets, and then just a kid that like was into fashion, sports, hip hop, and able to make his way doing what he liked to do, you know. So I say that to try to inspire or encourage young people today that got way more talent than me. Like people sometimes call me like a designer and creative director and these titles that I'm like, man, okay. Say that on the business card, but that ain't what I do is just me. You know what I'm saying? And so the privilege of being able to do you and feed your family doing you is something that I really take a lot of appreciation and gratitude for God blessing me to be able to be in that situation and to do it with alikes that I love being around and be inspired and influenced by people like y'all.
Exactly.
So
we appreciate that, man. I've been like for years, bro, like, and Twin can attest, and he feels the same way, just using you as like the mood board. Like he said in the introduction, it would be like niggas that think they own their shit, then run into you and be like, scrap that, man, start over. Like and I think it's even doper because even seeing you, every time I see you is like, bro, I'm gonna tell you how I feel. I feel like that's the issue with the world, that we we too cool to be like, yo, this dude really inspired me and mean it. So when I see you, I don't care how tired of it you get it tired of. I'm like, yo, Don, man. You know what I'm saying? Don is just Don, you know what I'm saying? And I know Twin knew you a little longer, but I felt like he ain't study you how I did, you know what I mean? But we would go back and forth and he'd say the same shit. Like, shit, I feel the same way too, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't know.
Man, it's crazy to like mention it like that because we think about it. We all think the same things. I think even before we started filming here, we was talking about that Ghostface picture, how it inspired all of us, and we never had that conversation with each other.
Absolutely.
And so it's the same. I think with y'all brothers, it's like seeing people doing their thing, and you just be like, man. But Chicago is very like where you feel funny to express it.
Yeah, it is.
So man, thank you for like expressing it. I want to follow that and express it more to people, and I'm inspired by people that not older than me or like I'm inspired by sometimes kids.
Absolutely.
You know,
yeah.
like I'm be like, and when I say kids, I'm talking about real young kids, like everything appropriate, y'all. So I'm thinking, but I'm talking about young kids be inspiring me by like just how they present themselves, they slang.
Yeah.
Cause that's also another thing. Like people be talking about culture, and I feel like they only be talking about fashion and music. It's so many different layers of culture. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Especially like us as black people from an urban city like Chicago, we inspired from our roots and we inspired from where they settled us. You know what I'm saying? So we take inspiration from everything. Yeah. And from things we seen that we ain't never been.
Facts.
And we know how to put a spin on that.
And you know what? So speaking of that, right? Because we touched on it. What I appreciate the most is that, like early on, right? Like before you started your independent hustle, your entrepreneurship, you had a job. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like I would see you going to your job. I'd be at my job downtown at Group Bar. I see you going to the Merc or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Every day. Anybody, Twin, what's up or whatever, right? But when we got cool, it was when you decided to really like step out on your own and start with the throwback jerseys. And what's crazy about that is, because we spoke on it again, like we didn't know who was into what. I just know like when I saw it, I liked it. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you knew, like, hey man, I see this, I like this, I'm gonna take advantage of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and figure out how to do this.
Yeah, man, I don't even know, like, I think that's just an innate entrepreneurial spirit I have. Like, I never, I come from the South Side. It's just like, I want to start a business. And at the time, I was always into like, I think I always been to like, what's next? And so at the time, to me, the internet was something exciting in the late 90s. So I wanted to have an internet business. Well, I was like, man, bro, I wish I could have a website or internet, because everybody else, wasn't nobody else doing that. Word. So I'm like, man, if I could be doing that.
Right.
So it's why I just went and searched URLs, and I got vintagejerseys.com. I was like, man, this is going to be my brand.
That was the site.
Vintagejerseys.com was my URL.
It was.
I saw them Mitchell & Ness jerseys. I called Mitchell & Ness in Philadelphia. Just start, getting cool with they reps. And eventually I was like, man, can I wholesale them? Can I buy them at wholesale? And they was like, we don't do a wholesale bid. We just manufacture these jerseys. We have our retail store. And they was like, but we've been getting some interest from a few stores. But I knew they wholesaled them because the first throwback I ever got was from a store called Distant Replays in Atlanta, because I seen Big Boy in it, which you had mentioned in an episode previously. So that was the first person I saw in a Mitchell & Ness. They weren't called throwbacks back then. That didn't come to a couple of years later. They was called Cooperstown Collection.
I remember that. Yeah. I remember the tag on the joints that said that.
And so, and they only did MLB to start. Wow. So NBA didn't start until 98, 99. Right. And it was honestly, Mitchell & Ness went to the NBA and started that. So to this day, that's why Mitchell & Ness has an exclusive license of old school NBA marks, because they started hardwood classics for the NBA. Okay. NBA didn't have Mitchell & Ness created that label, the hardwood classics label for the NBA. Wow. And so Dr. J, of course, them being from Philly, was the first one they did. And then Bird and Magic, because that was like who was, people wanted,
Yeah.
But of course, there was a lot of Philadelphia jerseys because of where the brand was. And, you know, I was just eating it up. And at the time, it was a rep there that I got off into just talking sports with them. So they knew I was like a real connoisseur of sports history. And that's like my other thing. I'm a sports almanac.
Yeah.
I tell people, like, with sports on the level of hip hop, I know everything, you know.
That's
and I
wild.
take a lot of pride because I feel like education is like the core to what I do is education.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
when I'm wearing something, I'm trying to educate somebody on it.
Yeah,
But I'm just trying to do it in a way where they don't feel like funny. Like,
yeah,
you know, I want them to approach and be like, yo, what's them? Or if they do know, let's build on it.
wow.
You know, so it's like conversation starters to just keep the educational process going. And that's like, even when I started a retail store, I told everybody, I was like, man, we gonna like not make people feel bad, but we gonna put everybody up on what's going on. That was
Yeah.
the whole purpose of the store. And it wasn't for people to actually buy. Like, man, I had one of my boys, Shannon, he work at Leaders now, but he used to work at a store called Bouchard's back in the day. And he made me feel this way. And my boy Miguel at the Gucci store. When I first used to come in there, when that Gucci store first opened in Bloomingdale's, man, I couldn't afford nothing in there. But I was looking like, man, my man Miguel came up to me one day, was like, bro, you want to try this on? And I was like, I could try it on?
You talking about Miguel from Gucci, right?
Yeah.
He was like,
That was all I got.
he was like, man, it don't cost nothing to try it on.
Miguel was a cool dude. He
And
get
he'll
that.
tell you 20
Yeah.
years, 15 years later, I was their biggest shopper in that store. You know what I'm saying?
No
So
doubt.
I take that when I see kids today, like, man, don't prejudge them like
Yeah.
what they doing now ain't
Yeah.
what they gonna be.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, Zo, you know what's crazy, Joe? So, speaking of like not being able to afford nothing, right? So I remember I went to your crib and I think I got my my Carlton Fist, right? I got a Carlton Fist from you, and you was like, "Twin, you know they got the Pradas over at such and such." You know what I'm saying? My cousin was working at the Prada store. He's like, "Twin, you know they got some Pradas over there, such and such, right?"
Yeah.
And I'm saying to myself, man, I can't afford it. Right? I'm like, man, I can't afford that.
Right.
What make him think I can afford it?
Right.
Right? I was just saying, I was being like, damn,
Yeah.
I can't really do that
But
right
man,
now. So-
I was just saying go see them.
right.
You know what I'm
right.
saying? Go pay them a visit because
Yeah.
they gonna be with you soon.
That's how it started. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Shout out to Shannon too. The Black Hawks joint I had on last episode, I got from Shannon.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
know
that's
what I'm
my
saying?
man. That's my man. Like, that's been my man for over 30 years.
Yeah.
man.
I want to say Shan been knowing me since I was 14.
Yeah.
Him and Vale. Shan was at Tony's first.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was at Tony's
No,
first.
shout out to Shan, man. Keep it going, twin. We got so much we even want to ask you
So-
now. We don't know where to go.
So,
but
so
we
no,
got
so
to.
I'm gonna get straight to the point, right? So we spoke on this about how you and Ye were like the first ones, you know what I'm saying, with the Nolan Ryan joint, right?
Especially here in Chicago.
Yeah.
That's how we.
Yeah.
And clothes the way you could get on.
Exactly.
Like if niggas don't know you, you wear something fresh.
Yeah.
Now niggas know
Now
you.
they know you. Yeah.
Now they know
No
you,
doubt.
right? Now they know you. So speaking of Ye, right? A lot of people don't really know your role in the whole Kanye West world.
Mhm.
So college dropout, right?
Mhm.
When college dropout came, that's when we saw a transition of like sort of from the throwbacks from people into like, oh, these guys just created a whole image of what it's supposed to look like, right? Who was behind that? What was the thought process of, okay, we're about to make this man a fashion icon?
Yeah, I think trying to separate Ye from everybody else. At the time, like, you know, throwbacks was almost played out at that point. You know, I was probably one of the very few people that was like just holding on
Yeah,
to him.
no
I'm
doubt.
like, I remember Ye, he always innovative, like next.
Right.
But Ye was like, man, bro, we probably shouldn't even do the throwbacks no more. They so popular. And so just trying to set apart. And I think going back to the inspiration of when we were younger, what put us on was the low heads from Chicago, Dem Dare, Reg, like these the fools that we was looking up to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So being able to say like, okay, if we get a platform, how can we freak that movement and make it a little more street, make it a little more hood?
Yeah.
Because at the time, I even think Kanye was trying to anchor in on who he was as an artist. He had just had braids before then, so it was like he was going Southside drug dealer, pellies and braids.
Yeah.
But then it was like, he definitely had something about him that wanted to be more unique than just a Southside Chicago. Like, man, I gotta have something a little different about me.
Yeah.
So that's what I think the low was like. It was a resurgence of that low that we looked up to forever.
Some of us never stopped wearing it.
And then we was able to like bring that to the table along with, at the time, Japanese streetwear was a little bubbling.
Yeah, definitely.
So to be able to show that we was like on a global scale and paying attention to that. So, I mean, honestly, like, Ye always been a genius when it comes to the music and the way to market himself. Because he's always thinking like, man, I want to present myself in a certain medium that's different. And I think that's why he gonna always be the greatest. Because he always cares about evolve. And he not afraid to change it and to evolve to the next character. But I think with me specifically, I wanted it to be multicultural, not just music, fashion, streetwear, international, you know. And so it was, to me, and at the time, I'm gonna keep it real, man. We talk about this all the time. You're inspired by the people you see. Nigo and Pharrell was popping at this time. Like, maybe not together, but they was both popping. And I was a fan of both of them. So I was one of the very few people that was a fan of Nigo. And so I was looking at Nigo like, man, bro, I think we need to have some type of aspect of street and fashion to complement the music.
You know where we went right after so there was a site. You remember where we was getting those Adidas from?
Hardputs or hardputs.com or
was it Oki something?
It was
Okini.
Okini.
Yeah,
Had
Okini.
the Sambas and all
Hardputs
the
was the
joints.
store in San Fran, and then Okini was yeah.
So
I used to get on eBay though. That was my little secret weapon, because I used to buy on eBay, and then what I would do, I would then conversate with whoever sold them to me on eBay, like, yo, what else you got? Like, and then it would just build them relationships that people would hit me and be like, oh man. And you know, that game, it ain't that game no more, but that game was fun.
Oh, that game was fun, man. And what's crazy, because there were certain pieces, you know, like when Ye got that chain, right?
Yeah.
What do you have on?
The Sambas. He had on the track
That
jacket.
track
The St.
jacket.
Moritz. Or the,
He had the Canada joint.
The Canada
joint
The
on.
Canada showed up. The Canada.
Now, certain people like me, I'm over here saying, I'm like, that's Don.
Yeah, nah, we was doing
I'm
them
over
all
there,
day.
I'm
To
like,
the
that's
point where
done.
you
I'm like,
seen Hov had on. I remember Ye was flexing to Canada and to Great Britain, and I was doing it Japan like every day. So first time I went to base, I ain't gonna say first time, but one of the times I went to base, I remember I had that Japan on, and the Japan just had the flag. It had Japan on the back and Adidas, and sure enough, that the 03 Bonnie and Clyde video with Hov was with, he had the Japan on. Wow. And I told niggas, I was like, man, I had that joint in the studio when I met Hov, and then he had it on in the video. I saw.
Exactly.
Love that, man. That's the history. That's just a point, like not even.
No, that ain't nothing, because I'm sure his stylist grabbed it or something.
100%, yeah. But it was
just.
it's you. It's just without saying.
I remember
it.
I was doing a mohawk back then.
Yeah,
And then I remember when Puffy went in the marathon. He ran in a marathon. Nigga did a mohawk. And I was like, man, bro, I'm just trying to do different. I'll never forget, like, man, because I take the style to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Like, I dye my hair.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, no
even
doubt.
before, like, niggas do that now.
Yeah,
you
it's
know what
cool
I'm saying?
now.
But I remember,
hold on.
like,
that's crazy. I don't mean to cut you, because you and Happy definitely had the mohawks.
the mohawks.
Happy had the people don't remember Happy had the mohawk too. You know what I'm saying? So
Damn, I ain't know it was before Puff though.
So
yeah.
Puff, huh?
Yeah, like
This
I remember I had
nigga.
that mohawk 99,
Yeah.
98.
Yeah.
I was doing a mohawk.
That's
Biology
another-
by day. Was it biology by day?
And I'm just like, man, I'm gonna go mohawk on them and see what they talk about. When I went blue hair, I'm gonna tell you who I got inspired with the blue hair. Marc Jacobs. I see Marc Jacobs color his hair. I said, man, I ain't never seen no niggas color their hair. I'm about to do it.
It was cold.
I'm about to do it.
Yeah,
And then,
It pulled it.
no, I remember, I'll never forget this nigga Dream. in the studio. We was this was Washington times. It was about 2010, something like this. This nigga was like, man, bro. He was like, I see you with the blue hair, the purple hair. He was like, you doing that shit like rich niggas gonna be copying off you about 10 years from now. Watch. He was like, he said it back then. He said, watch, I could see like rich niggas wearing colored hair and stuff. And,
Hey, I said, I argue with everybody and say Don was first in everything that I be seeing, bro. Like, I be trying
man,
not
that's
to.
why I don't do it unless I could be first.
Yeah.
That was what I think was.
So that's telling you what it is, you know what I'm saying? So when I'm arguing,
Like
I hope niggas are seeing this shit right now.
And when I'm sleeping, because I'm sleep at the wheel now, man. I got kids and responsibilities. I take care of adults and stuff. So that's my importance.
Yeah.
Is my real responsibilities. But like, so right now I be sleeping a lot. And then I say, oh, I seen that. I'm going to get it. But I can't do it. I saw you in it. That's you. I just got that on my mantelpiece at the crib. Like, this Zo right here.
Bro, that's why I didn't jump in the low. I tell him all the time,
That's
I love the low.
when I switched up. I was trying to go to Tommy because everybody was a low head.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, how I could be a little different?
Yeah.
To me, that's what I think the game is missing. More creativity to flow if people wouldn't be so comfortable being soldiers.
Like internet, man. Internet. I mean, I always say the internet is
homogenize the marketplace. You know,
because before we get to Bape, which you murdered.
Yeah, I
you know
was
what I'm
first
saying?
on that. So
right.
And then it felt like it was my calling because my father Japanese.
Exactly.
So that's like a thing where like Japanese culture is like in me. And so like for it to be a brand that was Japanese because I was already trying to show Japanese things to the South Side of Chicago when it come to like all my friends. If you was over my crib, I had the Japanese Super Nintendo, the Japanese Genesis. Niggas know I had the games with Japan. You couldn't read it. Be like, man, niggas be over DonC crib like, man, bro, this nigga be playing the game. You can't even read it. Because he just be wanting to stunt that he got the Japanese one. And I be like, man.
Yo, this shit is needed, man. So niggas ain't crazy when they thinking like this, man. Like,
yeah, I'm telling you, man.
Hey, see, that's what I always love too, Zo. Like the man would nerd out on something. You be like, man, this man really like, I'm like, oh, first time I really peeped, I said, oh, this man ain't got no problem nerding out on something.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's how the shit kind of supposed to be. Especially like when you really into some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So again, like before the Bape, one day because I always used to be like, hey man, what this nigga wearing, right? You had some Japanese denim on with the leaf in the back, right? Boy, you know, I did my research. did my research. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, these niggas wearing the Japanese denim that's 300.
Word.
That people don't know nothing about. I think it was either some pure blues or something like that.
With the gold, the 24 karat gold. It was something, I forgot what them was. But really, you know, that era was like when people start spending on clothes.
Yeah.
Which I have to say, like, finance is definitely a lane to separate yourself. Yeah. But one of the things that was fun back then was that you didn't have to be rich, though.
Yeah, definitely.
And so it made the game a little more fun. Like, you know, we used to tweak it we could go to Marshalls or TJ Maxx and flex. Yeah. And we figure it out. Because you just maybe might be a season off.
Yeah,
or
but it's still fresh. Yeah.
But you fresh.
Yeah.
I don't like it like now. It's kind of like if you're not wearing the exact current season, people kind of play. And I tell people, I say, man, why don't something worth more if it's last season? To me,
bro.
People feel like it's got to be on sale. To me, it's not real style. It's just kind of like copycat fashion.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah,
like you said earlier, everybody got certain shit, right? That's why Zo be feeling a certain way because Zo was early with the rig. Early with the rig. So he be, and again, like, I never touched the rig shoes because I was doing the rig shoes.
Because people was already doing them. Yeah, that's what I'm like, yo, I can't do that.
I remember the Kanye blog. What was it called? University. And they posted a picture of the Ricks. And him and Virgil said, Rick Owen, please bring the toe box down. And I'm thinking in my mind, like, no, this shit is crazy. Like it's hard. Yeah. But that's how early I was on Rick, and they didn't even touch it. I was looking for photos. Virgil didn't put on the first pair of Rick Geos to a show at LV. And I'm like, nigga, but you said, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case is, just on the cool side, like, nah, niggas be doing what they do, and it was fresh, but it's just being a student, man, and that be the illest shit, man.
And I like it when people give people they lane.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you do that?
Yeah.
That's your lane, bro.
100%.
And now I'm going to help feed you.
Yeah,
Like, if I see something that, be like, oh, let me call Zo. I know he do this.
Come on, man.
That's how I used to go. But now, you know, a guy kind of, he try to hurry up and get his pick on before you grab
That's
it.
so fucking whack.
And make it,
Yeah.
and I say, man, all the pick stuff is corny,
No,
man.
it's super. And then even with the pick, for you to mention that, I'll never be able to play that game because I like to buy shit and not wear it for like
Oh, wow.
a while. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I want to do this when it ain't in season.
Done. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's the shit I be into. I wish I still had all my LV Sprout shit when I OD'd on that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because look at it now, it's even iller, like when it aged and the fact that.
Only thing I get scared, these companies retro stuff so quick.
Yeah.
So I asked the designers right away. I'm like, hey, you ain't about to do them over, is you? Because I got the old one still, and I don't want people to diss me for the originals.
Yeah. Mark just did something with the Sprout shit, and they'll get it confused.
Yeah.
But no, definitely, man.
And you know what? So speaking of Marc Jacobs, right? So you said that he like 99.
Yeah, the blue hair. I colored my hair because of Marc Jacobs,
Right.
honestly.
So the blue hair, right?
And I'd like to throw something out there. I'm an inner city black kid from the South Side. I was drawing inspiration from a white gay man that I never met. And I didn't feel funny about that.
Oh, you can't.
And so that's what I want to tell people, like, man, bro, like the way Chicago is now, different from when we was coming up, is that people are way more open-minded.
Yeah.
You know, I got teased for wanting to skateboard. That was a no-no on 79th Street. Skateboard? Nigga, you come around here with that skateboard again, you might bust your head. Bust your head.
Yeah.
Like, you got teased and picked on for just trying to be expressive. Now, a lot of those guys, they come to my store now and say, man, when I used to be gay, fam.
Yeah.
Now we all doing it.
Niggas was taking my comic books,
Bro.
man.
like you couldn't even express yourself. Bro. So I had to say, I'm so happy that the world is so much more open, and it leaves an open lane for young people to be not apologetic and not afraid to express themselves.
No, definitely. I remember being at Slicks and the whole goon squad there. I got on the Zimbabwe track jacket and pink, some type of pink Adidas, and they all just
clowning you.
Killing me.
Yeah.
But now that the fact that, you know, hey man, we all was behind on different movements.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
hey man, everybody now I feel like really honor it and be like, yo, inspiration come from everywhere. And everybody, so it's just it's a melting pot. So that's a way Chicago's even better than when we was coming up. Chicago even better.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
You know?
All right, so look, so speaking of the Marc Jacobs era, right? How did that intro happen? Well, not even that. How did the collab happen, man?
With the Louis?
With the DonC and the Jaspers, you know what I'm saying? How did that meeting go? Like how did?
Oh yeah, I'll tell you.
How did that happen?
Man, I think once again you got to thank the people that opened the doors. Ye working with Louis was just an extension of Pharrell and Nigo tweaking the Millionaires.
Got it.
And exactly. Because the guy, right now, my man Pietro, I think he like the CEO of Louis now. But he used to be the director of communications at the time. So man, I happen to like get cool with him. He just cool dude. And at the time, we was already working on the Nikes.
Okay.
So, you know, we had the Louis over here in this back pocket.
Nike.
And we had the Nike in that back pocket.
Okay.
And we just knew we was about to shut culture down before it was even. But we was like, man, we got to figure this out. So we didn't tell neither company.
Right.
We didn't tell neither company because at the end of the day, their contracts did not state that each other was a competitor.
So y'all was already on that. Y'all made sure.
We made sure Louis did not think Nike was a competitor, and Nike did not think. Look, now today they think they compete. I don't know why.
Right.
If you look at any, if you sign with Nike, Louis gonna be one of the competitors. You sign with Louis, Nike, but pre that,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So it was just like, man, the fact that I had to, shout out to Pietro's son, because Pietro told me, because that'd be the number one question I'd be asking all these companies, like, man, where y'all get the idea? Where y'all even? And he was like, man, when we did the Millionaires, he was like, I asked my 15-year-old son. So this is 2008, so I got to think his 15-year-old son got to be in his 30s now. So shout out Pietro's son. I don't even know where you at right now, but you the reason.
No doubt.
Pietro was like, man, I asked my son, like, if we could do anything even cooler than the Pharrell Millionaires, what would we do? And his son said, sneakers with Kanye West. So that's who put it on.
Wow.
Pietro's son. He
Damn.
put them on. So out of the mouths of babes, the abundance of truth speaks. I always say that. The shorties know what it is. The shorties know what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Change the world.
And if the shorties get the ear of the people that can green light it, the green light gang, that's what we need. So I always say this, man, we gotta give the shorties the opportunities.
Yeah.
And so that's why I be like this. Really, here go the real code. The big house, everything, y'all don't be connecting with the shorties. The shorties know what it
They know
is.
what it is.
They gonna go there.
They know what it is.
They don't
And the
mind
shorties getting sharper and sharper every generation, you
100%.
know. So that's how that went down. And we kept the Louis in that back pocket. And Ye was like, as we was creating, we was going out there to, so me and Ye at the time, we was going out there to Louis like that summer of 08, working on the shoes. I think that was summer of 08. So we got a chance to work. With all fairness, Marc Jacobs didn't work on that collection because he had a head footwear designer.
Right, okay.
So, you know, he was doing a collection, which was like, this was a part of the collection, but really it was like a capsule that was a little separate from the collection. So they kind of gave us full creative control, like with the footwear. Fabrizio was his name. So Fabrizio was head of footwear at Louis. He still, shout out to Fabrizio, he's still there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking about the dude who did the Ye Louis, same dude who did them with Virgil. Yeah. He's still there.
He hard.
Yeah. He
cold.
Yeah, he
that
cold.
dude there,
Yeah, he
he
cold.
cold.
Wow.
Do y'all research.
Yeah,
Fabrizio Vidi. You know, I'm gonna put you on blast on the gram, Fabrizio. You about to get some extra followers.
100%.
You know what I'm
We
saying?
definitely want to check that out.
So-
Which one came out first? Now that
It was probably the DonC or the DonC or the Jasper.
Nah, they came out at the same
right?
time.
I know the Don and
And
Jasper came
out
out. I'm
there-
talking about the Nike and the
Nike
and
came
LV.
out.
Nike
So
came out.
the Yeezys.
The Yeezys
The Yeezys
dropped.
hit.
But they didn't know the Louis was coming. And then the Louis came like, whoa. But I don't know if y'all remember at this time, shoes didn't sell out like that.
Yeah, they ain't sell.
So like, and these shoes was like 800. We stepped the game up to a whole nother level. These
I
shoes
can-
started at 840.
Yeah, I'll
the
tell
DonC
you.
started at 840.
Yeah.
The Jaspers and the Hudsons was
Right, the
more.
Hudsons, yeah, it was more.
And so we was going from 840 to like 1300.
Yeah.
I think, and this is 2008.
Yeah.
So they didn't sell out all the way, but thank God to that. That was one of the ways I was able to open RSVP Gallery
And we
because
was
they
gonna
didn't
get
sell
to
that out.
Yeah, because that's
So
what,
my entrepreneur brain
that's,
went there with
That's
it.
what to piggyback on what you was talking about earlier, how you went Gucci and tried on something. That's how I was able to see him. I went to see him in hand at RSVP, man. You know what I'm saying? Fast forward to RSVP.
So the year later, I wanted to open a store. And the whole thing for RSVP, I just wanted to I kept seeing so much stuff. I was like, man, I come back and tell my guys, but everybody not seeing this. How could we? And so that was just the plan. At the time, me and Virgil was getting close. And we was like, man, we need to be able to have a place where we could bring this stuff and people from Chicago could see what we got to see. Yeah. So that was the whole reason behind wanting to do a store. I didn't really I love it now because it's such a melting pot. It's almost like a school or a community center. You know what I'm saying? So I love that aspect of retail. Mm-hmm. But at the time, it was just wanting to showcase things we saw. Word. You know, and I never really been big, and that's why I brought up Shannon earlier, because Shannon embedded something in me that it don't cost to try it on or to educate yourself about it. So I never really been big on. I gotta do commerce because I like to make money, because I like to provide things for my family to enjoy and everything. But I've never really been big on like the commercial aspect. I guess that's why I'm not wealthy. I guess that it's a true aspect of not wealthy in the sense of monetary wealth. Yeah. Because I always looked at things like I wish I would have did it now then. I wish I would have did a museum versus a retail store. And then my museum would be 15 years in the game right now, because I think the retail store breeds an aspect of materialism and I don't know. It's something that I don't always feel comfortable with. Yeah. But I feel like if I'm just presenting information and people not seeing that I'm trying to capitalize on it, it's just present information, I would feel way better about it.
Well, from one of your top consumers of RSVP.
Well, that's why I like to consume when I go places.
Yeah, no doubt.
I want to be because it's got to be a circle.
Yeah, 100%. I stayed in there tearing shit down. I'm just giving you the flowers. To me, it felt like a museum. You know what I'm saying? I had that feeling. Like I always knew. I remember when you opened up, and if I'm not mistaken, you had Joe Millionaires in there that wasn't for sale.
Mm-hmm.
I was day one. You get what I'm saying?
So he also had, I'm going to tell you what else you had in there. What I tried to get from you, the price was crazy. And he was like, Twin, I'm not selling them yet. Virgil had a pair of black, they was either Don's or Jasper's. You remember what it was? They had the cream sole.
Oh yeah, the like just a black pair with a white sole.
Yeah, black pair with a white sole.
I think that was charcoal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I ain't seen
them ones.
Yeah. I was like, I ain't seen these.
Because they had certain colors that was only rarer than the rest of them.
And I was like, I think I need these. And the price, I was like, oh, I can't pay that for those shoes right now, right? I was just like, I wanted them so bad, but
they was sit. So when I realized like 6 months after release that Louis store still had them, I was like, wait a second. Niggas ain't gonna be asleep forever.
No, because remember, so
6 months later, they were still floating around.
So I went around and grabbed them all.
Yeah,
and that's how we opened. One of the things we opened RSVP with was them Louis. To the point, I got that visit from the people from Paris knocking on that door, like, man, what y'all reselling up in here?
Shout out to my man Reggie. I used to kick it with. I made him buy a pair of Jaspers just because I couldn't afford them. The Jaspers was the cream joints, like with the pink.
Yeah.
I made him buy. I knew he was gonna wear them like 2 days, and I got them from him. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Reg. I couldn't afford them, but he was late because he wouldn't have known to get them. You know what I'm saying? To piggyback what you're saying when they first dropped, but he got them out of LV.
Yeah. So speaking of Paris, right? I don't know how many years ago that was, man, but there was a photo that went viral.
Yeah.
South Park.
From Paris Fashion Week. So what year was that?
I don't
we
remember.
don't know.
We
we
don't
don't
remember.
Okay, but anyway.
11, 10, 11, something like that.
What was the mindset?
Man, we was just trying to express ourselves. When I look at that picture now, we was looking crazy. But I tell you, who would look super fresh to me? Taz.
Taz was still.
Taz was
I'm about to disagree with you.
I'm
about to disagree with you because I don't think y'all was looking crazy, bro.
I think my fit was off. I think Ye fit was off. I think Virgil fit was off. But Taz looked fresh. I think Chris Julius still looked fresh. And Bentley just Bentley.
So it was Bentley. So look, you know what? I'm going to go down and rate it because your fit, look, all the fits were still fresh.
I was trying to do Comme des Garçons and let you know I knew a little about fashion with a Louis trunk and then keep it baked.
Babe, yeah.
Then
you had the mall too there.
No, that niggas was overdoing it, but it's fashion.
It's fashion. Yeah, it was fashion.
I still think that's the picture that kicked off and made it where it's cool to overdo it.
Exactly. Yeah. That made kids, and so we had the courage to do that. So I'm happy we did. And opened the doors for everybody.
I think it's a classic photo, and even just piggybacking, every time I see you, just with a few drinks in my hand in Paris, I'm like, yo, you realize y'all the reason that we doing this shit. Like, am I wrong?
No.
Man, to be able to have that foresight, I gotta say, Ye was a true visionary because he was intentional about it.
Got it.
We was like, Ye was literally intentional about it then.
Wow.
He was saying like, man, we gotta get these pics too, because this gonna be like moments in history.
Wow.
He was saying it. And what he said it so much, and I clown the man, so that's why I gotta apologize. He said, man, they gonna look back at this and they gonna look at us like Martin Luther King and Jesse Jackson, like we the civil rights leaders. He was like, we the civil rights leaders of this movement.
Hey, bro.
And like when I really think about it, I see kids today, they say that. They like, yo, bro, y'all like made it where it was like we possibly could be here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, it was just the timing of events.
No.
We happy to be the ones to champion it.
No, we not letting you downplay it because I feel like the kids. When I saw it then, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, yo.
That shit was cold.
Ye was
hard.
Ye was the genius behind it though because he was intentional about it.
Wow.
He said it then.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, we're like the 63 March on Washington. Yeah, of course. I was joking with him then, but it was for real.
Hey, look what happened, bro.
That shit was cold.
So were you guys, just so I know, just to be clear, because I'm a historian, y'all was pretty much first as far as like when it came to not the first niggas in Paris, but obviously who popped it were the reason we there now.
Yeah, I think like definitely it was like Like we couldn't get in the fashion shows when we first started wanting to go to fashion shows. But being a Chicago guy from the nightlife community, you know how to parking lot pimp.
Absolutely.
You know how to clown at the door.
Yeah.
So then we started making I don't know if you noticed that street shot, that wasn't in no fashion show.
No, it was outside.
That was outside of a fashion
no
show.
doubt, no doubt.
We was just making a movement because they wouldn't let us in.
So dope.
And then guess who let us in? Karl Lagerfeld.
That's crazy.
He the man who let us in.
Wow.
I'll never forget, it was a Sunday morning Lon Von show because we started making a movement outside of shows.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't get in. So we started making a movement like, man, niggas like, oh, they gonna be outside the show though.
Wow.
And so we started getting fresh, standing at the door. And you know us, we at the door, like, oh, whatever. Y'all see, we making a movement out here.
Yeah.
And one day Carl pulled up to that Lon Von show, was like, come in with me. And we like, oh yeah, we up in here. We walk in the show with Karl Lagerfeld.
That's the
and we
wild shit.
10 deep. We deep.
That's crazy.
You know, we deep. It wasn't no, this Chicago nigga.
no doubt.
We at least 6 to 8 deep. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And he was like, man, come in. Ever since then, we've been in every show. Every show.
And y'all,
Like-
y'all murdered that.
So I had to
Lon Von
say,
shit,
the
too.
people at the top
Yeah.
let you walk it. Carl was the one. He was the visionary before everybody. You know, Carl, he let us in.
I feel like.
And
this
I mean, when he
R.I.P.
saw Taz
Carl,
right
man.
away,
That's his-
he was like, oh, this dude is like my muse. Like I could just like,
They
he was
dress
like,
alike.
he came up to
Yeah.
Taz like, yo,
I
let's
know.
get a pic together.
Wow.
Like I'm talking about, he's sweating Taz for pics.
Hey, this has to be a Ghetto Runways exclusive, man.
Yeah.
'Cause I ain't never heard you say
No,
this.
nobody
on
Oh
knows
the
that
no,
story,
for
man.
real.
Don't
Carl
nobody
let
know
us
that
in the
story.
dope.
Wow. And then
Nobody
y'all
knows.
killed that Lon Von moment too, man. You know what I'm saying? That was the shit. Another
Come on.
thing, that was around I think that's when I finally got in. That probably was my first luxury piece.
Sneaker?
Yeah, on the luxury
Lon Von.
sneaker.
Oh, yeah.
They was
Lon
early
Von.
with it with
Yeah.
the fly
Yeah.
sneakers.
Yeah, I think that was my first joint. That I was Barney's. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I peep Don and them doing this shit
Hey.
everywhere in the pictures.
Yeah.
We can rock these
They
with
was
big
ahead.
ass jeans and
They
look
was
good.
ahead of the curve with the fashion sneaker.
Yeah.
Elbert Albez was the creative
Yeah.
director at the time, man. He was ahead of the game.
We gotta Google that name and find out where he at too.
Oh no, yeah.
It's all about the
Oh,
history.
he's still
man.
around.
He's
Nah,
still around, though.
Man.
Because remember, I had him at Nordstrom, so I was getting,
You
you know what I'm
did.
saying? I got mine on the disky. I was like, cool, that's
me
what we
do
gonna
that.
do. That's
Oh,
what
we
gonna
can do those?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, we could do them.
Nah.
So no, right? There was another era that we want to get to, man, that I think took the world by storm.
Yeah.
You even had a nickname during this time, Givenchy DonC.
Yeah.
Hey man, that Watch the Throne, I think was the first time where it put a designer out there. You know what I'm saying? Put Riccardo Tisci on the map as far as like, no, like, who the fuck is dude?
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's multicultural, bro. We are the culture, so it ain't just music. We
Yeah.
hit you fashion, sport,
Yeah.
food,
Yeah.
etiquette, travel. We hitting
Yeah.
you from everything. So yeah, definitely that Watch the Throne movement was that real deal movement.
Yeah.
But what you gonna do with Ye and Hove album though?
Right.
What you supposed to do? It was like,
And sidebar, you A&R'd that,
yes sir.
right? You A&R'd that Watch the Throne. Now, just so whose idea, like, I mean, I know between with you, Ye, Virgil,
Oh, come on.
with all them guys.
You got
it's
Ye and Hove in the room.
Yeah.
them two geniuses of everybody generation.
Facts.
Like
Yeah.
they battling with history,
Yeah.
genius level. So the thing is that that step up everybody game.
Yeah.
You know, whatever ideas you bring into the table got to be on that level.
Yeah.
So I think Ye called that level luxury rap.
It was.
That was luxury
It
rap
was.
era.
It was.
We was the Hermes of verses.
Right.
Like,
You know what I'm saying? Because look, even and I hate
Sophisticated
this,
ignorance.
Sophisticated
right,
ignorance.
our
Like,
cursive is in cursive.
Come on, you know what I'm saying?
Come on,
Like,
bro. It don't get no iller
yeah,
than that.
no ill. I hate to skip the dark twisted fantasy. I hate to skip that.
Yeah.
But
No, Watch the Throne era
Fashion-wise,
was like, that
Watch the
tour took it.
come on,
That
man.
tour took it. Because it was like, because now it was like also the masses of culture are ready for it.
Yes.
Like before then, you know, a lot of times before then, we was still getting teased and clowned.
Still.
Yeah. Like up until even though 50 Cent and niggas
yeah,
thought
yeah,
50
yeah.
was gonna beat Ye, other than us.
Yeah.
We was the only niggas that knew. We was just being humble.
Y'all knew it wasn't
We
close.
knew it wasn't even close. I said, I'm out in these streets every day. I know 50 Cent is not popping like Ye right now.
Wow.
But we like humbly was like, man, we hope we beat 50. And I was just, playing humble for it.
100%.
But we knew when we was always like, bro, we about to beat this nigga.
Yeah.
Like, we about to beat this nigga. It was just there. Also, we didn't know the powers that be.
Yeah.
Like, is Interscope gonna pull a woo-wopty or, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what we was worried about. Like, we knew what the streets was talking,
Yeah.
but we didn't know
Yeah.
the people behind the doors if they was gonna just play us, But I think when the streets, one thing is that culture shifts everything. So the market dictates itself. If yellow and orange is hot, you gonna see it.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody gotta say it.
Yeah.
It's gonna dictate. So I tell people anything. People be like, "Oh, I made this for this or this." I said, "Bro, you was just happy to put your name on something."
Right.
Because at the end of the day, this industry, man.
Yeah.
Like, every fashion designer could take the year off. And it's still gonna be the same amount of clothes sold that season.
So look, I got a question, right? When y'all in that room, y'all Givenchy out. It's everything. It's birds of paradise. It's
Sharks.
It's everything, right? When our man put that kilt on, something different happened because he put the kilt on.
He put the kilt because that was that expression of, hey man, let me express myself. Now and I was all for it. I was for it because to me, a kilt also represents a Scottish culture.
Exactly.
So it's also celebrating another culture.
Yeah.
So I like that. And to me, culturally appropriation is one of the coolest things ever. Vulturing someone's culture or disappropriating a culture is whack.
Yeah.
But to me, culturally, like people, come on, man. Y'all know we like karate movies.
Absolutely.
We just pay respect to it and we do it the right kind of way.
Right.
So for us to be able to flip like something that a man in Europe exercise, and these are like men that military men wear kilts.
they wear kilts.
So I looked at it like that until we was coming back to Chicago. Just being a little self-conscious. I was like, hey man, what the folks gonna say. You know what the folks gonna say, man. They gonna be saying we was around in Paris too long.
Yeah.
and it's funny because even Ye said, man, I gotta wear the kilt at the United Center. He said, I know, people that know me go try to clown me.
Yeah.
And he said, but I'm gonna do it. Because
Yeah.
I gotta be the leader.
Yeah.
And so
Hey, man,
I'm
that's
happy
it,
he was
yeah.
brave to stay with it. Because me, sometimes I'm even closed-minded, man, and be like, I ain't doing that. Like, it's a lot of movements now I don't do because I think it's like not me. It's just that ain't it. I would feel.
Yeah, it wouldn't feel like you. You wouldn't feel like yourself.
Yeah.
Like to me, Lenny Kravitz one of the flyest males on the planet.
Period.
But it's certain designers that I feel like I try to look like him if I wore.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just can't do it. But it don't mean
Same.
I don't rock
Yeah,
with it. I
100%.
love it. It's just like, man, that's Lenny Kravitz style,
Yeah.
bro.
No.
I ain't never did nothing. Now, if I could take like one little element and maybe throw it with me, then
Yeah.
I'm going to try to do that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
That's how me and Emery, shout out to Emery Jones. That's how we got locked in because his favorite word be like, I can't do it, but I understand it. You know what I'm saying? I always thought that was the illest shit. He'd tell me that often, like, no, you killing that shit. Or he killing that shit. It ain't for me though, you know. But he wasn't just to the point where he was just dissing nothing.
No.
And
Because that show you corny. If
Exactly.
you like, you want to be able to respect things that you can't do.
yeah.
That to me, that says a lot.
Yeah.
That's giving props.
With that throne era, man.
No,
We
that
gon-
was a good era, man.
was
And it
Throne
had
special.
we had to match the fresh with the music. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Jay and Hove had to be. So we thought it was only right. And I want to say, Ye, being the intentional genius he is, he was the one that was like, man, because you know me, I go all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, man, it was even on the raps. Like, I remember when on the Ham song, Jay said a line like, Calm Day Car song, fuck yo fresh.
Yeah.
Because we just shouting labels.
Yeah.
Ye was like, man, bro, we probably need to be so intentional. Comme des Garçons is such a dope fashion brand where we giving them too much props, even on the lyrics.
Wow.
We got to be intentional about Givenchy. This era is Givenchy.